I'll be sure. Famous singer from the late 80s, well into the 90s. And he was also a super producer and writer. In fact, he was the one allegedly who was supposed to do that classic hip hop R&B song Poison that BBD ended up doing. But he also produced some hits for Tevin Campbell. One of my favorite songs is Alone with You by Tevin Campbell, and that's produced by I'll Be Sure. And Just Ask Me To by Tevin Campbell is I'll Be Sure. So he definitely is a gifted songwriter. But I'll be sure he took to his Instagram and he wrote about his former love, Kim Porter, who ended up becoming Diddy's love. But he and Kim Porter dated first. In fact, he wrote the song Forever My Lady for her. Jodeci sang that song. That was their first hit. Ironically, Diddy was their A&R, but I'll be sure he wrote their first hit, Forever My Lady, and it was dedicated to Kim Porter, who was pregnant with their son, Quincy, at the time. So I'll be sure took to his Instagram to speak on Kim and her tragic death. She was only 47 years old when she passed away. He said from the beginning, I remember when she passed away, he immediately went to his Instagram and did somewhat of a cryptic video implying that Kim was harmed, that this was not a natural cause or what have you, or she just got sick type of death. I think her official cause of death was pneumonia, but he, since the beginning, implied that she may have been unalived. And he stands by that to this day. And that's what his lengthy captions have said, that this was an unaliving. And he's asking for authorities to reopen this case and truly investigate her death. He slams the current so-called or unauthorized biography of Kim Porter that has hit Amazon. He says it's all lies. And I think there were claims that he and Diddy had relations. I think that book made claims of that. And he says that's completely a lie. Even Kim Porter's family apparently has come out and said that that particular book is a lie. And they have said that she doesn't even have a manuscript. And that is something that she wouldn't do. Whereas I'll Be Sure says, no, there probably are book notes out there, and that was part of the reason why she was unalived. She was going to be pretty much, she says, the original Cassie. In fact, his exact quote is, in a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Miss Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire, which brings us here today. That was his exact quote. And I have to admit, I'm pretty sure if you believe just an ounce of what Diddy is accused of, again, he maintains his innocence, but if you believe just an ounce of what Diddy is accused of, I'm pretty sure Kim Porter, God rest her soul, probably had seen a lot. So there's no doubt in my mind with that, and maybe even experienced a lot. Because I have to admit, when you listen to some of the details regarding Diddy and what happens after his FOs, one key piece was that participants, including him, sometimes it would just be such a substance-filled marathon of FOs that they would have to be plugged into IVs after these sessions. And I remember reading when Kim Porter passed away, they said that she had to be given an IV. Now, again, people are given IVs for various reasons. She was said to be suffering from pneumonia. But just in my mind, it just hit me like, was she given this IV, or was she maybe having a reaction maybe due to some of these FOs? So in my mind, it could be a mixture of things. Again, this is all speculation. This has not been formally stated by the prosecution. I'll Be Sure has his theory where he feels she's been unalived. Again, Diddy maintains his innocence. All he has ever said was that he loved Kim Porter and he misses Kim Porter. But my theory is, if you were to entertain the idea that Diddy may have had something to do with Kim Porter's unaliving or death, then to me, it likely would have been more accidental. If she participated in one of his sessions, which would not be far-fetched, they were a long-term couple, on again and off again, and still apparently had a lot of love for each other and still were in each other's orbit. And they had kids together. So if she did participate in an FO, maybe, again, like I said, she just had a bad reaction to what may have been given to her or whatever she may have experienced. So with that, he would be responsible for her death, in my view. But again, that's speculation. That's not fact. That's just me speaking on what I'll Be Sure is claiming and just looking at the facts surrounding her death and the fact that she had to have an IV. And that's just one of the key pieces of evidence when it comes to Diddy's FOs. Now, I'll Be Sure also claims that his life was in danger as a result of Diddy. He seems to heavily imply that when he spent, I believe, almost or over a month in a coma, he's claiming that Diddy may have had something to do with that. Again, this is something he's going to have to show or, give us some type of evidence of this, but this is what he's saying. And, I have to say that with Diddy, I always looked at him, even though I know he's had his issues with business. People have said many things about him in terms of his character, in terms of his temper. Now we're hearing about these FOs. But from the outside looking in, I did always admire how he seemed to be a really good father. And he did adopt Quincy, who was I'll Be Sure's biological son, that he had, again, with Kim Porter. And I just always thought that was quite interesting. And I remember hearing that it had to do with maybe I'll Be Sure being an absentee father. But now that I'm seeing or hearing more about Diddy's character and how he likes to be in control, and even how he would react allegedly if Kim got a new boyfriend, how he would beat that boyfriend up allegedly. Or even Cassie, if she had a new boyfriend, how he allegedly may have committed arson when it came to one of those boyfriends. So I can't help but wonder if once he started dating Kim, or they started dating each other, I'm starting to wonder, did he insist that she break ties with I'll Be Sure? Or did he kind of create this distance and then adopt Quincy, maybe not per se for the love of wanting to be a father figure, but more to just rub it in the face of I'll Be Sure? I don't know. I know that Quincy seems to admire Diddy a great deal, loves his siblings, of course, a great deal. But it's just a thought, because it just seems to be a very dark situation. And it just makes me wonder about what were the real motives behind Diddy adopting Quincy, who is I'll Be Sure's son. But that's my thoughts on this. Be sure to share your thoughts below. I'm Stacey Brewer, and this is H Blues Word. Peace.